Hey there, welcome to the Online Startup Summit, where you are going to discover everything you need to know about starting an online business from the ground up. I'm your host, Charlie Weedle, and I'm so excited to introduce you to today's speaker and expert, Erica Duran. Welcome to the show, Erica.
Hey, aloha. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Um, so I brought Erica into the summit because she has been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. She is a freedom business coach and mentor, a digital marketing expert, a luxury lifestyle designer, and a minimalist. And she also has a strong background in sales, marketing, and technology, which are all super important things when you're trying to run an online business. She also has a podcast called The Erica Duran Show. So I invite you to check that out. So Erica, I would love for you to tell these awesome people who are watching this right now a little bit about yourself. What were you doing before you started your own business?
Okay, yeah. So the 20-year overnight success story.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So before I started my own business, I was in corporate for quite a long time. I went to college like you're supposed to and graduated with a hotel restaurant degree. And throughout college, I worked at Disneyland in California. And then I wanted to get out of theme parks and go to hotels. So then I was in hotels for quite a long time, all different hotel chains, and just kind of worked my way up the corporate ladder till I got out of operations and into marketing. Because if you know, in the hotel business, if you're not in like an office type job, you're like 24/7 on. So I worked my way up to director of the Western region of Hawaii and all the Western United States for their timeshare arm of their company. And one day when I got back from vacation, it was just kind of walking into a political bloodbath. There's like lots of backstabbing and pointing fingers and all kinds of stuff. So I just kind of quietly packed up my stuff and left for lunch and didn't come back. So it was a pretty big,
Wow.
sales director job to just walk out of and not say anything. But I just, walked out. I just couldn't take it anymore. Especially when you come back from vacation, you're like, oh my God, it's very apparent to you at that time. Sorry
Yeah,
about the squeaking. There's Java there.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. I hear you. I mean, I was also working in hospitality, and I was a server in a restaurant inside of a hotel. And it was a really small boutique hotel. And so we were doing everything from
Right.
bussing tables to serving to bartending. We were doing the mini bars, stocking the mini bars in all the rooms. And it was just a lot. And I totally remember that. And I think it was at that point where I was like, I'm so tired of working for other people's dreams. I want to have
Mhm.
my own dreams and work for them and create my own life. And
Mhm.
the minute I remember, like the minute I really just decided this is it, I'm going to step out and I'm just going to trust that the universe is going to lead me into the right direction, and it totally did. And it was an incredible experience to just trust and allow that to happen.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you doing right now, and how is your business impacting the world?
Yeah, so right now I'm pretty much a business coach and mentor with a lot of emphasis on technology because I love the whole online business realm of things, being able to work from anywhere and make your own schedule and work with people all over the world. So I have a strong emphasis on technology and SEO and things like that so that we can work with people all over the world. But really, the biggest thing I would love to say that there's all these tactics and tricks and strategies and everything, but the biggest thing I do with clients is get them over themselves and help them to take the next step and get clear on the next step, because there's just so much information out there and so much noise and so many different opinions. Getting them back to trusting themselves and doing something that they really want to do, even though they don't see the path to income right away. There's usually always a way to monetize something, and people just stuff down their ideas so much when they think that there's no instant money involved, and it doesn't really work like that. I'm working on a project now that it's a accumulation of all my team's mistakes for the last 15 years that just got funded for like $23 million. So like all of our mistakes turned into that. So it's just like, I can't tell people enough to just start doing something.
Yeah, exactly. I know for me, I struggled with my own fears of being, putting myself out there or failing, or even success, fears of success. What would that look like? Could I handle that? And all of those things, it's like you can't be controlled by your fears. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere in the world. So yeah,
Right.
that was a huge, huge thing for me as well. What was your biggest lesson that you learned in your 20 years? Like, what would you say is the one thing that you're like, you know what, if I could summarize my whole 20 years and I could give someone one piece of advice that would be mind blowing, that would really get them on the path, what would that be?
Yeah, I don't know if it's so mind blowing, but I would say that we're always searching for the right way or the better way or the 3 steps to this or the 6 steps to that, and there's no right way. Even people at the very top, that's not the right way for you, maybe. So it's hard when you're in research mode and you're researching the heck out of everything, but there is no right way. There's no rules that your email has to go out on Thursday. There's no literally best time to tweet or anything. You don't have to do webinars. There's no rules, and everyone thinks there's some kind of magic pill or magic SEO system or something that's going to cancel out all the other work you have to do, and it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so just no rules.
yeah, I hear that. I hear you. There's so much out there, and like you said, there's just it's the world is too muddy with just all this information that people, especially
Right.
business owners, who are like, I don't know what to do. They're telling me to do this, but they're telling me not to do that. And yeah, I mean, it can be so confusing. So you just recommend just picking one method and going with it and seeing what works and what doesn't?
Yeah, pick one method, get started. Pick the method that's right for you. If you rather do audios, don't start a blog. you know
Right.
it doesn't make any sense. I guess, and the other thing too is, just to add an extra layer to that, is when we stay in research mode, it is usually out of fear. So that goes back to the first little conversation we had about fear, is if you can realize that you're stuffing yourselves with podcasts and audios and online courses and buying this and buying that, it might be one reason, yeah, great, you're learning something, but the other reason might be that you're not moving forward with what you're supposed to be doing in the moment. So
Yeah.
that's the other. And another thing is, the other biggest thing I see, big mistakes out there, is not treating the online world like the regular old school back in the day networking world. It's the same people, they're just online, and it's great because our market is in our little tiny neighborhood anymore. We don't have to go to those BNI meetings with the bad food anymore. So yeah, so I think those 2 things would be what I would say.
Awesome. Yeah, totally. And so when it comes to marketing, there's so much out there. Again, what method do you choose? Do you do social media? And that's a whole nother, thing right there, because then you have to deal with all the algorithms, and, Facebook is kind of controlling what you see, and even Instagram too, both just controlling what you see. What would you say to that?
Yeah, well, I would say, again, to cut back on the things you are doing, pick one or two or maybe three marketing methods and really get really good at those and kind of shut out all the rest. And then when you have a steady stream of clients, hire a VA or something to repurpose your stuff on the other networks if you want to. By that time, maybe you don't even have to. And then, I myself a couple of years ago thought SEO was dead, but it's really not. When people are serious and they want to buy something or they want help with something, they go to Google. They don't go to Facebook to get advice per se. That's not why they're logging in. So that's why we opened a couple of SEO platforms and agencies last year, because a lot of my clients were refusing to do the hustle, refusing to speak or webinar or one-to-one networking or tweet or whatever they were refusing to do. We're like, we just got to take this out of their hands and do it this way, where people looking for that kind of help are finding it.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Going back real quick, you said hire a VA. And for those of you who don't know, VA stands for virtual assistant. And when I hired my virtual assistant, well, I've hired a couple now, it literally changed my business completely, because I was able to delegate work to that person that really supported me in my business so that I could do the things that I needed to do to bring in more clients or to focus on marketing or whatnot. And that was just a huge thing. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that as well. So you are an expert in SEO, or you definitely recommend SEO. And I think I totally agree with you. As a website designer myself, I think SEO is super important. And because, like you said, when people are searching for something, they don't go to Facebook to search for, practitioners in my area or, whatever. They're going to go to Google to look for that.
Right.
And that's why it's important that you have proper search engine optimization, SEO, on your website. So yeah, what do you have any tips that you can provide to kind of get people in getting better search engine optimization on their website?
Yeah, I think the number one tip I could give people that'll shift their mindset around it right away is that Google treats every single page on your website like its own mini separate website. So that's why these bigger, more elaborate, complicated websites when you're starting out it slows you down, it's expensive, and it doesn't make as much sense as having really, really good landing pages that are highly optimized, highly focused, and everyone wants the pretty brochure website. But if you want clients, then you need to rethink this and play along with Google, because they take each page as its own little mini website. Yes,
totally. And I always coach people through their websites when some people are like, hey, can you look at my website and give me some feedback on it? And a lot of times it's, simple brochure style websites where you're just displaying information and you're not really it's all you're doing is just saying, this is who I am, this is what I do, here's some pictures, this is how you can reach me. And it's not when people come to a website, they're looking for to be guided, to be kind of taken through a journey. And it's so important that each page is sort of set up as a landing page to a degree. Even a contact page or, an about me page should be engaging. It should guide the viewers through, this is who I am, this is how I can, serve you, and this is how you can reach me. It's like a clear call to action at the very end of every page, I think is super important.
Yeah, a clear call to action and leading them to take the action will really shift conversions on your website. And just little things like the about page. Yeah, it's about you, but it's really about them. It's really like when they're reading that, they're like, how could this person help me? How can this person help me? It's not really about you and all your awards and all the. I just took it down because we shifted our opt-in this week. But I had, you know, hey, my contact page, hey, you're here, contact us. But by the way, you want this free, you know, guide or whatever. So even the contact page was a landing page.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you don't know which page people are actually
Right.
going to land on when they come to
Right.
your site. Sometimes it's a different page that you're not expecting that you would think that they'd come to your homepage, but that's not always the
They
case.
never probably come to your
Yeah,
homepage first. They come in through a blog post or something.
right, exactly. So this brings me to another like topic that I think is really hot out there, especially with you know, kind of like the new technologies that are out there for marketing. And I'm specifically talking about landing page builders like ClickFunnels and lead pages and Entreport. I mean, there's so many different ones out there. And all of them are basically saying, ditch your website, do this instead. And me as a website designer, I'm like, well, I think it's, you know, like I get the idea and why you should have a landing page, but I think it's important that websites, you know, I'm a branding person. I think that, you know, businesses should have a brand, they should have a website, and that each page really is a landing page. And I think that's kind of what they're trying to promote. So, I mean, what would you say if someone's like, I don't know what to do? Do I do lead pages or do I get a website?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need lead pages. You could just make your landing page on WordPress. You don't need lead
Right.
pages. You don't need that monthly bill.
Yeah.
Plus, cumbersome platforms like lead pages and ClickFunnels and even WordPress, all the excess code to make it easy for non-developers to make websites slows down your website and causes your SEO to be really bad. So you have this pretty website, but in order to get people to see it, you have to really hustle because Google's not going to help you at that point. There's just too much cumbersome code in there to make it DIY. So to answer your question, I don't really agree with any of those build it yourself platforms unless it's you have nothing else and that's what's going to get you started. But even then, I'm like, just make a tab on your Facebook page and send people to that. Like it, you know, if you're just starting out, you need clients like tomorrow, then just get the best landing page you can, even if it is a Facebook tab, and get that up there and start selling. And like we said before, then once you start selling, then do all the other pretty things, and then you can afford a VA to do it or someone who's really an expert in that to do it. So you're not doing everything wrong and then having to go back and redo everything. That's even more expensive, time consuming, frustrating. And it's just this feedback loop of fear then, because you're doing everything wrong, nothing's working. And then it's just like this whole, oh, I guess I'm not good enough for this and go back to my job kind of mentality. Instead, if you would just focus on sales, get your first few clients, then hire out this other stuff, you'd be so much happier. It would just be so much momentum from there and so much income from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page there, because that's great. So what would you say is you know, kind of like going a little bit off topic here, not really, but what would you say is the biggest mistake that you made?
Let's see here. So many. So many. I
Or one
think
of them.
yeah, it's just waiting. I like waited 6 months to do a podcast, and it's like, you know, you hit record and you publish it. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, but I waited like 6 months. I was in research mode. And then, you know, the timing was perfect when I did do it because I partnered up with a big resort in Hawaii. But I could have pushed that along a little faster. Yes, I did. I was just waiting for the right thing, waiting for new photos, waiting for this, waiting for that.
Yeah, exactly. I know for me too, that was another big one, was like all the fears, you know, for me, it was perfectionism. I'm a perfectionist, and because, you know, I do branding and everything has to look perfect and I have to be perfect. And that doesn't get things done. Being perfect does not get things done. It's more about getting it done than getting it perfect. And that to me was a really big breakthrough for me. And it shifted me a lot in my business, and my business also, you know, improved because of that, because I wasn't so focused on getting everything absolutely perfect all the time, 100%, you know,
Yeah. I had that too because I was a certified professional organizer for a long time. So there you go with that. I was total perfectionist. But what kept happening is kind of embarrassing. But what kept happening was I'd be so like trying to be perfect, and then the minute I'd send someone something out, it'd be like, oh, there's typos all over this or something. When you're trying, so it's never going to be perfect. So once you accept that it's never going to be perfect, then you just start not throwing a bunch of crap out there, but just getting on with it, really, because yeah, you slave over something, and then you get a bad comment, or you get, oh, there's a typo or something like that. That's
right?
not worth it.
So true. So true. I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours I've spent going through trying to make everything look perfect. And then I send it off to a client and they're like, no, change everything. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like, why did, it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be done.
Right.
And, yeah, exactly. Another question, what is the best decision that you've made other than deciding to work for yourself?
Yeah, I think the best decision I made was just a few weeks ago. I cut out about 80% of my programs. I took down maybe 15 info products, digital courses. I took down my old gold, platinum, diamond program. I took down my group program, and I'm just I do this kind of every 2 years, where I just kind of blow up everything and start over, because I'm such a different person and my clients are such different people. And just kind of, my website is maybe 7 pages now. It used to be almost 30 pages. So people think when you're taking down all your digital programs, you're going to lose all that income. I was like, no, because now I'm excited about this program and it's going to do so much better. And I'm not bogged down with a bunch of customer service stuff from the old programs. And plus I wouldn't teach that stuff anymore. It's not what I would do anymore. So it doesn't feel authentic, because that's not what I would advise anymore, because things change so fast. So yeah, that's probably the best decision I did. I feel so much better now cutting out all that stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. And for me too, as a website designer, I always have ideas of like, oh, this will be a cool website, or this will be cool. I'll have this online store. I'll do this. I'll do that. And then all of a sudden it's like all these things. And I'm like, oh, all these things I have to manage that I don't have time for, or I don't really even feel that excited about. It was exciting in that moment, but that doesn't mean that this is going to be the thing for me. So when I started really just like cutting those out, and I just like got rid of those websites, and I really just put all of my focus into, the 2 or 3 things that I really feel called to do, that's when you see all the flow happening, because you're really putting all of your energy into, 1 or 2 things. And I think that's really helpful for most people who are going to be watching this.
You're not confusing your audience either, because they have such short, not that they have a short attention span, but a lot of things are grabbing for their attention, and you have like 3 seconds when they hit your website to not confuse them. So not confusing them is a big part of taking down all those other programs I had.
Yes, exactly. One of my coaches says a confused visitor does not make a decision.
Right.
And it's so true. Like if you're trying to get them to subscribe or purchase a product or, contact you, if they're confused, they're not going to do it.
Right.
So
right.
It's so important to be really clear and give them one thing, to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I want to give you a little bit of space here. I know that you have some amazing things that you're offering. And I would love to see what you can provide right now that, the viewers could really start to implement in their life.
Yeah. So a tool that I would recommend kind of thing. Okay. So there's a really neat tool that I just, they reached out to me on Instagram and to test things, because people are always like wanting me to test things for them. And so I was like, oh boy, another thing. I don't know if I want to do another thing, but it's called expertise.tv. And even at the lowest free level, you can host unlimited webinars and do like so many other things. So it's kind of intertwined to my free gift and this platform. But I just opened a totally free online networking group and mastermind group for entrepreneurs and influencers on this platform. And so I wanted to get it off. I didn't want another Facebook group or anything. I wanted to take my group outside of the noise of Facebook. So it's serious people that when they log in, they're wanting to network and they're wanting to do mastermind type activities and things like that, hot seats and things like that. But when you join my mastermind group for free, and you are automatically a part of this platform, and you can build your own community and run webinars and set your availability so people can book discovery calls with you and do all these other bells and whistles in your area of the platform. So it's been really neat to set that up, and I've never grown a group or list this quickly. It just was so easy to grow. I've in the past had some struggles building my list, honestly. And this platform was just like first 10 minutes, 50 people. So it was pretty interesting. I don't know if it's the platform or just where my audience is at now, but I've also researched so many webinar tools that you have to pay for monthly, or that are very complicated or just buggy. And this one is pretty smooth. It has all the little bells and whistles that you would want. And it's if you decide to upgrade, it's not that bad a price. So I'm running my whole business through this platform now. So it's been really helpful.
Yeah, that sounds like a really helpful tool. And so I mean, people who may not know what a mastermind is, or what the benefit of webinars are, maybe you could speak a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, networking, I think, is pretty obvious. You want to meet like-minded people so that you can collaborate with them, or they could perhaps hire you as a client. So that's one part of it. There's a speed networking, kind of speed dating networking in there. And then mastermind groups are where several different business owners get together and kind of help people through challenges, celebrate success, hold each other accountable. We have free workshops and trainings that I used to charge for, and they're now for free. So that kind of stuff is going on in there. And webinars, if you are transitioning from from a brick and mortar business or an in-person business and wanting to take your message bigger into the online world, and you want to save a ton of time building know, like, and trust factor with people, you're gonna want to do video, because it's like an instant connection, an instant kind of warm know, like, and trust factor. Webinars also, I used to do maybe 20 free Aloha strategy sessions a week. And now, instead of doing 20-hour-long free phone calls, I can just do one webinar and trying to take people through that whole process in 1 hour instead of 20 hours. So it's a great time saver, a great revenue generator, because you have their attention for an hour, and you can really teach them something, or you can really show them what you offer in that space. They're not distracted by other things. Hopefully, they're not, when they're on your webinar, they're not distracted by other things. And just the reach of it, reaching so many people from around the world through video and through these online classes has really helped save a lot of time and build a lot of income.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. One last question. I would love to know what you think is the best method for people to grow their community, whether they're clients or if it's just people in their field, their followers, or what it is. What would you recommend is the best method?
As far as numbers, getting your numbers up for your community?
Yeah, numbers. Reach, getting a big reach.
Yeah, if you're not paying for ads, which I've never paid for ads to this point, if you're not doing that, it's work, but reaching out to people one-to-one, like like seeing other people online and handpicking them and inviting them to your group and saying why. It's,
Mm.
yeah, it's a lot of work, but then you get this totally awesome connected community that you handpicked. And if you set a goal of like 10 outreaches a day, I mean, by the end of the month, you have 300 outreaches, maybe half join. That's better than just putting a boring post out all the time and nobody joins. So I always go back a little bit old school, even online, and personally reach out to people and just building the numbers from there. Because it is, 10 people a day is going to be a lot at the end of the year.
Definitely, definitely. And I love that. I think what's most important is connection. I think that's what most people crave is they want to be, especially in an online space. That's something that is often not really focused on. So I think, yeah, really making a connection from the get-go, I think is super important.
Right. And everyone gets these mass emails and mass posts and broadcasts and everything. And they really, when you personally reach out, it's a really like jarring thing sometimes because they're not used to it anymore, but they remember you. So if they join or not, they're still going to remember you.
Totally, totally, exactly. Do you have anything else you want to share with the group before we close up for the day?
Well, I would love to invite them to my networking and mastermind community. I don't know if you have the links on the page, but it's ericaduran.co/community if they want to join that. And I think this baseline of all these things that you're wanting to do, if you have a gap between where you're at and where you're going, it's probably some underlying fear or block. So really take a look into that and try not to let the noise knock you off your path too much.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I love that. So yes, you guys will see a link on this page to opt into her amazing free gift that she's giving you guys. And I hope you all take advantage of that. And thank you, Erica, for joining me today and providing our viewers with some incredible information, tools, advice that are going to help them with their online business.
Thank you. Yeah, it was so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And for all of you watching, please come back again tomorrow for another powerful interview with an equally powerful online business expert. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.